that's right. Oh, man, what a great song. That's going to be changing soon because we need something fresh. Anyways, this is All Gas, No Trash. Welcome. I'm Josh. Here today with that. Well, yeah, I'm here today with Adam.
Here today with Kurt Cobain.
We're here today to talk about our new Kurt Cobain biopic that's going to be coming out. No, that's not a real thing. Please don't sue us. Anyways, if you want to hear all of our stuff, you can go to GameRageMagazine.com and listen to the multitude of other podcasts that we have topics about, such as anime, movies and TV, pro wrestling, video games, comic books. Shit, we even have an interview podcast called Without Censor, which those of you who listen to this podcast will be especially interested in hearing the newest episode of Without Censor, which comes out June 19th, Wednesday. And you should check it out because it's none other than world-renowned popular artist, a.k.a. BK. And I think it's safe to say that a.k.a. BK is already turning heads. The interview hasn't even come out yet, and heads are already turning in their direction.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Violet Grohl, one of David Grohl's daughters, I guess that's a model, liked one of the reels that we posted about. Because I've been posting a lot of reels in preparation of the interview so people can get an idea of what we're posting about or what the interview is about and such. So what happened on your end?
Oh, I mean, there was just a bunch of like on TikTok and Twitter. Fuck no. Twitter sucks. I hate Twitter, but we have to do it. Okay. But on TikTok, there was same deal. There was a lot of people that were liking it. And I was kind of looking at a couple people and some of them were like, I feel like they're dummy accounts because they led me to like names and I Googled the names and they were like some A&R people from like, so one of them was from some Sony somewhere. And then another one from some like, I don't know if it was Universal. I don't know, they were people that were associated with this. So I was like, interesting. So either way, that means, because again, they're not looking at us, but because they don't normally like our shit, whoever these people are. I think that it's people following or watching her and they have their tags or whatever, the AKA BK tag. They have that like, I don't know if you can set it to like, it comes up on your feed if someone says something about AKA BK. And so that's where I think they saw it.
It's cool. I'm cool with that.
I'm all about helping out AKA because again, that was a hell of an interview. I don't want to fucking like
wash our own balls.
Yeah, but man, no, I don't want to wash AKA BK balls too much because we did wash their balls quite a bit during this interview, but deservedly so. And they gave a hell of a performance. Great story. It was a great time. We had a lot of fun. I know AKA BK had a lot of fun. I mean, if they were telling us the truth, then yeah. But, I assume they were. They seemed very genuine about how this was a very awesome time. And, hopefully, I think there was more to explore. I think there was more to talk about. And, I mean, shit, we did a little over 2 hours with AKA BK, and we still had shit to talk about. So I'm hopeful that this will lead to a second interview, maybe, after perhaps some sort of a live performance coming up soon. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. So anyways, check it out. July the 19th.
June
the 19th. Jesus Christ. June the 19th, Wednesday. Check it out without censor. You can download it wherever podcasts are able to be downloaded. So anyways, All Gas, No Trash official. If you want to follow Adam, and he puts out all the stuff. So all right, enough of our own ball washing. Let's get to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah. So the two topics that I wanted to talk about, and I'm not sure how much we can get out of this, but fuck it. It was two things that I wrote down that I was heavily interested in.
Yeah. What's the old Bill O'Reilly? Fuck it, we'll do it live.
So as of late, there have been a number of biopics that have been released. Mm-hmm. Bob Marley, Amy Winehouse. And I seemingly believe that none of them are actually good. Because, I mean, shortly after the fact the movie was released for the Amy Winehouse biopic, It came out like a month and a half later. Maybe I'm probably exaggerating, but you know when movies were so bad that they would release the tape for it or the DVD for it after the fact because they were just trying to recoup their money like as quickly as possible. So it didn't work it didn't work when it was in theaters, but maybe somebody will buy it.
It's like that. I hated that thing where it would be in the theaters and then they'd wait like 3 to 6 months before they put it out on video. And then you could tell when a movie didn't do so good in the theaters because within 30 days of it going out of theaters, it was out for you to buy or rent or whatever. So
with this Amy Winehouse biopic, I'm just of the opinion right now. And to couple with this, man. So at one point, American Idol was something of a cultural icon here in the US and possibly even globally, because even other countries would go on to have their own versions and all that stuff. But man, just seeing what it has become, not that I've actually been interested in it to watch and sit down and watch it or anything like that, but I still don't understand why people are going down the route and having basically trying to speed run their own popularity for their own music or to launch their own career, because it feels like they're circumventing the actual work that needs to be done for the for their music and stuff. But anyways, what I was really wanting to get at was that what has been ended up happening on American Idol is they have these old like legacy acts and they'll have them sing these songs from their catalog, and they'll do a duet with one of the contestants and shit. And I'm just thinking, okay, it's cool to work with veterans and stuff, but let's get down to brass tacks. I feel like this is a play at renewing interest in an old artist's like catalog, because some of the people that they had was Winona, what's her name? Winona Judd, the old country artist.
Oh, okay.
They had Seal.
Oh man.
I mean, that guy hasn't been relevant to music for quite some time. So they had all these old legacy acts from different genres and stuff. But for me, I think it's a play at trying to revive interest for these artists to collect a little bit more on their stream revenue for different streaming platforms. Maybe to get their song placed on, well, I mean, I guess their song is getting placed on American Idol, so I'm sure they got their payday there as well. But, and with these biopics, man, it just feels like there's different efforts, different avenues in which people are trying to renew interest in old shit, because there's money to be made, right?
Right, yeah.
And the estate holders, or I don't actually know what they're called, like the estate of those.
Like, just the estate of the artist that's deceased or whatever.
Right. Is that they do these cash grabs. That's what it comes down to for me, is that these things that artists do to get their name out there, if they've been away from the limelight for a hot minute, you'll do a biopic. You'll fucking appear on some stupid gimmicky contest show. Mm-hmm. And it all feels disingenuous. Like it's just, to me, it just comes out as a cash grab. And that's kind of the way I've been looking at some of the things that have been happening as of late, as far as music in terms of television and media go, that they're supposed to be honoring the memory of Bob Marley, Freddie Mercury with that movie, the rap, was it Bohemian Rhapsody movie or whatever the fuck it was called. But what do you have to say about this particular matter?
I kind of agree with you. And I think it's kind of the equivalent of, if you look at it in wrestling terms, it's the equivalent of a wrestler coming out of retirement. Mm-hmm. Oh, one last match, like one last tour, one more this, one more that. And then it turns into an album. And then it turns into, and yes, maybe their retirement funds that they had set aside turned out to not be enough, and their accountant said, "Hey, bud, you're going to need to go do another tour. You're going to need to go get some more downloads on iTunes or whatever because your shit's starting to run out, fella. So I get that. I mean, yes, it is very disingenuous because it is no longer when that becomes the motivation, it is a fact. It's not a guess. It's not a conclusion that's being jumped to. It is a straight, cold, hard fact that when that becomes the motivation, it's all about money now at this point. And it ain't about the art. And yes, sure, maybe we still want to hear Seal or whatever. I don't know. Maybe people want to hear that shit. But if he's just doing it for the money, fuck, really? Do you really want to hear him? It's not going to be as good as you remember. It's probably, if you never got to see him, it's your heroes are going to disappoint you, especially when they're in the waning end of their career and probably not as good as they used to be. So I do feel, 100% it's disingenuous. It's bullshit. Same thing with these biopics. All right, I get it. If whoever has the estate of Freddie Mercury, or let's say Michael Jackson or whatever, sure, you want to make him a fucking 3D hologram or some shit and go on tour? You ain't doing that for the fans. You ain't doing that for anybody except, well, you want the money, right? Because why else would you do it? You're doing it for the money. It's not like you're going to come out and say, hey, guys, we're going to have, so that all the people to honor Michael Jackson's legacy, we're going to come out and we're going to do this tour. He's going to be a 3D hologram. He's going to perform all the hits, and it's going to be free of charge. No one's ever going to do that because their motivation's not altruism. It's not helping people. It's not, we're going to do something good for the fans who have spent so much money over the years and made it so that we can have all these multi-millions of dollars coming in or in the estate or have had access to it at some point. No, we're not going to do anything like that because what do we need? We need more money. We need more. And the fuck part is the estate is the people after the fact, right? It's money you didn't earn. It's money you're not earning. You're not doing anything to get this money. You're taking advantage of someone else's work, someone else's legacy to put more cold, hard cash in your pocket. And if it was truly about honoring the legacy, money wouldn't even be a discussion. Wouldn't even be a factor. It would be a non-factor, as they say.
One person that I would be curious to see if anything comes out as far as because I think a documentary is maybe somewhat warranted or is justified in existing is if you actually had a Kurt Cobain, anything that's like documentary related. But as far as a biopic goes, that's when you cross over to being a cash grab. And I just don't know if that's even within the realm of that, even being a possibility. Cause I don't think Kurt Cobain would strike me as an individual that would like to have his likeness used for a movie. And as far as the people that are in his estate, I think maybe his daughter is, but if that ends up becoming a reality, then I think that's when possibly we're crossing over into that being a cash grab. Because I don't think in any possible scenario Kurt Cobain would ever want a fucking movie made about him.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. But then again, here's the thing: is no one will ever know, and it's not up to him because he's dead. It's up to the estate, whoever's in charge of his likeness and his image after the fact of he's dead. It's up to them. They get to decide, and they can determine if they want the money. Well, hell yeah, why not? And that's another thing too. The biopic portion of it, a documentary. Okay, maybe it's a little less scummy. A documentary, right?
It's kind of. I mean, I don't know if classy is the word to.
It's not the right.
It's not the right word, but. It's not scummy.
It's just less scummy.
Yeah, it's less scummy.
Obviously, I know the guys making the documentary, they probably want to make money. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to make more documentaries, right? So yes, they need to make some semblance of a profit on this. Now, granted, they don't need billions or multi-millions of dollars like the movie studios, which is why I say it's less scummy. They're also providing information, like factual information, talking to people that were there. That's a service, essentially. The biopic is a fictionalized version of what took place. Yeah. So it's not even real. On top of that, there's tons of corporate bureaucracy involved because now you've got the movie studio, you've got the production company, you've got a director, you've got a fucking executive producers, you've got regular producers, you've got all this fucking level of nonsense of people that need to take a slice of the pie, not to mention the actors themselves. Everyone needs to get a slice of this pie, and then everybody also gets input as to how the pie comes. And then now you got this pie that's just, what the fuck is this? We were going to make an apple pie, and now we've got some amalgamation of chocolate, strawberry strudel, and fucking like whipped cream on top. What the fuck is this?
Strudel.
Like the strudel, you know? I don't know. You got, that's how you, and that's what's scummy about it, is because most of those people involved are only motivated by the profit margin. And that's it. They don't care if the movie's good. They don't care if it's true. It doesn't need to be true as long as it fucking does well. So that's why I say it's just less scummy to do a documentary. But an example, I'm a huge DMX fan. I love fucking DMX. Okay, it's well known. All right, I don't know, maybe it's not well known, but now it's well known.
Now it's well known.
I don't need to see a DMX biopic. I would like to see maybe a DMX documentary.
Okay, yeah.
That would be interesting. Mm-hmm. I'd pay money to see that because I want to see what people say about the stuff DMX was doing and the people that were involved, the Rough Riders. Let's fucking talk to them. Mm-hmm. Let's fucking do a document. I would be down to see that. Maybe no one's thought to make that. Maybe no one gives a shit. Maybe no one thinks anyone gives a shit. But I give a shit. So, yeah, give me that. Don't give me... DMX the movie. I don't need to see that shit. I mean, I'm sure it'll be ridiculous, but I'd rather see a documentary about it.
Do you think we'll ever get Chester Bennington biopic?
Ah, man, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Why not?
No, I don't. This is gonna sound real fucked up, and I don't mean it with any disrespect.
No, you can say it. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna say it. Don't worry.
I'm gonna
say it. I just want to preface it with I don't mean this in a disrespectful way.
Dude, you say it exactly how you mean it.
I am. Chester Bennington was not famous enough to warrant a biopic done about him. There's no movie studio that's gonna fucking do that. I guarantee it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about the suicide thing.
No, who gives a shit about that? No, who cares? Who gives a fuck? That's
that would be the selling point of the movie is to go
see him kill himself. That's the whole fucking point. Oh yeah, I want to see this movie so I can watch my like a guy that I love kill himself. Of course I want to see that. Okay, that movie with Lady Gaga and what's his name? The music one.
Oh, A Star Is Born?
Yeah. That asshole kills himself at the end of the movie. So like no one cares about the suicide. I just don't think Linkin Park or Chester Bennington are big enough for a studio to go, hey, you know what we need, fellas? We need to make a Chester Bennington biopic. His stories, and that's another thing, his story ain't that fucking interesting. It's really not. Yeah, sure, he killed himself at the end, and that was sad, but...
They could dramatize it.
Yeah, of course they could.
Dramatization of it.
The Linkin Park, I don't think is... And again, that's the other thing. Linkin Park's, ever since Chester died, Linkin Park's dead, for all intents and purposes.
They are?
Well, they're not. They're not going on tour. They're not going to make any new stuff. All they're doing is retreading and releasing... the stuff that has come out that like the 20th anniversary or whatever of Meteora was like, I don't know, whatever, last year or something like that.
Okay.
So they put out a remastered version of Meteora, and then they took everything that they made for that album. They took all that stuff when it was just becoming songs like they were working on. They threw all that in there when it was just starting to become a thing, all the like demo tracks. And then they threw in like 3 or 4 songs that they didn't release because they made like 15 and the studio told me you can only release 12. So they had like 3, I think they made 15 or 16. So they made 3 or 4 tracks that were fucking really good bangers, but they couldn't release them because it hadn't been released. So now that's what they're going to do. My feeling is for now, because that was, I think, Meteora, and then they're going to have whatever the next album was that's going to be the 20th anniversary. They're going to do the same fucking thing for that. And that's how they're going to release albums for the next, I don't know, probably 10 years or 15 years, however much time they got left until every 20th year anniversary of whatever their album is, they'll release a remastered version of it with 3 or 4 unreleased songs and like the demo tracks of everything so everybody can hear them like trying to make it, right? That's what they're going to do. And because what's his name? Mike Shinoda has said definitively that they will never perform live again as Linkin Park. They will never release another album. He's going to honor Chester's memory. Linkin Park, for all intents and purposes, in terms of new music and touring, is dead. You'll never see it. And I fucking respect that. Props to that guy. I also think he would stop a biopic from fucking happening. I think he wouldn't fucking allow it. I think he would do everything he could to fight that, because I think he probably knows that's probably not what Chester wanted anyways. But it doesn't matter, because no studio is going to fucking do it.
But I think there would be, because I think there would be much reason to have it, because there's money to be made, dude. If they're going to really be releasing these 20th anniversary of every album that Linkin Park does, well, the material to promote it is going to run out at some point. So you got to do something new. So something new, but something old would be to tell the story of Chester Bennington as a cautionary tale for mental health awareness and suicide prevention.
A documentary.
That's how you spin it.
Yeah.
That's how you spin it.
I think a documentary.
That's the selling point of it.
Yeah, I think a documentary would be in order. I don't think a biopic's going to happen. I could see it well, listen, maybe Game Rage Magazine calls him up and says, hey, you guys feel you want to listen to a pretty all right documentary about you guys? Because we can make that happen. I don't know. Maybe no one's asked. So I think a documentary would be interesting. I'd watch that, but there's no studio that's going to fucking be like, yeah, there's no line out the block for the Chester Bennington biopic. All right. I'm sorry. It's just not true. I love Linkin Park. I love those guys. That's not a fact.
I can't wait to see if we ever get a fucking email or
Jesus,
we get contacted on social media and people feel the exact opposite way of what you're saying.
You know what? You're all entitled to your opinion, as wrong as it may be.
As wrong as it may be. I don't know, man. There's a lot of people that would credit Chester Bennington for saving their lives, whether it was through the music or what he actually said as far as what was going on upstairs.
Yeah, I'm not discounting any of that. I'm just saying there ain't enough people to fucking warrant a Chester Bennington biopic. There's not even enough people to warrant a total as a group Linkin Park biopic. Hell, maybe they could get an anime made about Linkin Park. That might happen. I could see that before a Chester Bennington biopic.
Fuck, man. Okay, well, I guess we'll put a pin on that one to see if that actually...
Let's see. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what. If I'm wrong and they make a goddamn legit released in theaters by a major motion picture company Chester Bennington biopic, fuck, I don't know. I'll have to do something.
What about a documentary? Does that count?
No, that doesn't count, because I would like to see a documentary. It's not a biopic. Fine. I didn't say that they would never make a documentary. I said they're never going to make a Chester Bennington biopic. All right,
fine.
So,
because I was gonna ask if that counts as a win if they end up making a documentary
for me.
For me.
Oh no, not for you. No, we may end up being the ones making the bio or the documentary if we're lucky. All right.
Yeah, we're gonna make it on Windows Maker.
Yep, it's gonna be on
Microsoft XP,
Windows Movie Maker on fucking Windows 98.
Oh man, it's gonna be so shitty.
Just Minesweeper will be in the corner because we didn't know how to turn it off.
Yeah, and then we'll advertise it on GeoCities.
Yeah, man, and anyone can reach us at our Yahoo mail.
Yeah, our Yahoo mail. You could also contact us on our AIM chat.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck that
the AIM, it's AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah, whatever your tag is for that.
Yeah. I was Shaggy J33. That was my fucking
Shaggy J
33. Yeah, that was my.
Why Shaggy?
I don't know. I fucking used to. I made that when I was like 12. I liked fucking Scooby Doo when I was a kid.
Who didn't?
Shaggy, like Scooby something. I was gonna do Scooby something, but that was already taken.
Scooby J.
And I was like, I think I was gonna be like Scooby J33, but that was already taken. So I was like, God damn it. And I wasn't smart enough to change it to Scooby J69, which would have been way better.
Yeah.
But so then I was like, who else? And I was like, Shaggy. Shaggy J. All right, yeah, Shaggy J. That's fine. I can do that. And then it was funny because like I would always get questioned as to like, you like the reefer? Like because then I'm like, what? No. What do you mean? And they're like, well, Shaggy. He's bitch. This was a kid's show. What do you mean he was high all the time?
I just knew he liked to eat a lot, and he hung out with his dog.
His dog, man. I like his dog that talked. I wish I had a dog that talked. So.
And to shoehorn into this specific topic, man, I saw this video, or I don't remember if it was specifically from the account of this new musical that has come to fruition. And fuck, man. If I was Rick James, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Because apparently there's a Rick James musical called Super Freak, the Rick James story. And I just couldn't fucking believe it, dude. The fact that it even exists.
Is there a trailer like for the show?
I think there is, but it's more of a live.
Yeah, but do you know how they do like a promotional? Like,
there is a promotion video for Super Freak.
Freak the musical. All right, we're gonna have to watch this
because how are you gonna do that without being?
It's a new stage play. Oh my god!
How are you gonna do that? Or sorry, it wasn't a musical. It's a play, right?
Yeah, it's Jacarius Johnson and Ty James present Super Freak, the Rick James story.
Because how do you present that without degrading the? Because I mean, dude, they're
fuck.
What?
It's here. It's gonna be at the Riverside Fox Theater. Wait, what's the date today?
I don't know.
Oh, fuck. It was today, June 9th.
The last one?
I don't know. I feel like so because it was June 7th, 8th, and
9th.
Wait a minute. They were just Saturday night at 8 p.m. They were at the Hollywood Pantages, and then they came to the Fox Performing Arts Theater today. So what, are they only doing one?
I don't know.
Yeah, man. We might have to go see this if it's out. We might have to get tickets to this.
Super Freak.
Because next show is June 7th. Oh, this is old. God damn, they're not even updating this shit. All right, who's in this fucking thing, man? Stokely is Rick James. I don't know who that is, man.
Because how are you going to give a depiction of Rick James' life without all the stuff that happened?
Oh, I don't know.
The cocaine.
What if it's just just powder floating through the air?
The women and all that stuff.
I mean, they could probably do that.
Because you can't really give a filtered version of that. You kind of have to tell it for what it is, right?
Well, it could be an adult. It doesn't have to be PG. It could be an R-rated fucking stage play or whatever.
But I mean, for the Pantages Theater, I don't know why I associate like family friendly shit, but that ain't.
They do adult. We went and saw the Book of Mormon there, and that was definitely not. Yeah, that was definitely back whenever. Fuck, that was in what, like 2017 or something like that. Yeah, me and Katie went and saw it.
Okay.
Because I think my parents wanted to go see it, and they had no fucking idea what this was about. And
damn.
Wait,
they went too?
It was great. Yeah, we went and saw it with them.
What they think?
Oh, my dad thought it was hilarious.
Okay.
I don't know what my mom really thought of it, but yeah, me and Katie fucking stayed, and it was pretty good. So it was all right.
Okay.
It wasn't their best work, but it was good enough.
I think it's still pretty amazing that Trey Parker and Matt Stone are even capable, because I don't remember what they did as far as college students or as far as when they went to college, but I thought they had some kind of like musical some kind of musical background when they went to school or college or some shit. But anyways,
yeah, it was something like that. And the first iteration of South Park that they made with the cardboard cutouts was a musical episode, and that's why the South Park movie, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, is a musical. Yeah. So was Team America: World Police musical. So was fucking what was the other one that they did? Shit, they did another one. They did another movie.
I can't remember it.
Ah, man, I don't know. But anyways, any major thing that they've done even South Park is kind of a musical at times now. Now that they're doing them like little movies or whatever for Paramount, there's like musical numbers in some of them. It's not a musical all the way, but
Yeah, I mean, for guys that don't really have them, are not recording artists themselves, or this is a secondary thing to them. And they make fucking amazing music, dude, especially with that Jack and It song. And saying,
yeah,
that's one of my favorite songs from the series.
And they're the ones singing it too. Like they're performing it and fucking writing it and doing everything. And they're not music guys. Like that's fucking hilarious.
Which is great, because that's what we do here at Game Rage.
Indeed,
we are self starters.
Yeah.
We're the bootstraps.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, Rick James musical. We should probably go see that.
I don't even know if it's available anymore. You said they haven't updated
on the schedule. That's all it shows. Like it just shows today as being the last day.
Okay,
but they only had 4 shows on there, so like I don't know if they just didn't fucking update it or if there's
what a horrible job to get the word out on your fucking
I know, right? You have one job, Ticketmaster. Let's see what Ticketmaster has to say. June. Oh man! So
Just happened.
they were supposed to be in Atlanta. It did just happen. They were supposed to be in Atlanta next week. Canceled.
Rip.
I wonder if everything else was canceled. That's why they removed it all. That's it. Yeah, there's no events outside.
It was a fraudulent play.
Dude, they only did the 3 shows.
It was a fraudulent.
It was just literally the 3 in Pantages and the 1 in Riverside. That was it.
It was a fraudulent show. They just set up everything, the Ticketmaster account and everything, and then swindled the money.
That'd be great.
Nah.
Let me just see. I wonder if you can see how much the tickets were, because I'd be curious. They'll let you. The event has started or already happened, so ticket sales have stopped. Damn it. Yeah, it was today. Fuck, we could have went and saw it.
Oh well. I mean, I just saw the advertisement for it, so I did.
That's true. Yeah. So there's no way.
Well, anyways, the next should we? I think I'm more or less done with that topic. So
yeah,
we go on to the next one. This is one I've been thinking about, and I don't know if I have all the words for it exactly, but I'm just going to say what comes off the top of my head. But I've been thinking about artists as, I guess, what you would call prospects, or even in terms of like fantasy football, like sleepers and shit like that.
All right.
But
that's a interesting way to look at it.
I'm just kind of concerned with as far as the topic goes, the ceiling of artists, what the floor is and what the ceiling is, and then what's the window from what could potentially happen for an artist. And I don't know exactly how this is going to come out, but I think for artists, there's a 10-year window, and I think maybe more concisely, there's probably even more of a smaller window, maybe 5 years. Because once you hit 30, that's kind of when everybody writes you off that you can't fucking do it. Because
like, once you hit 30 years old, as an artist, shit. What if you didn't even start until you were like 35?
Well, is
that why like the Gorillas, like they hide their? Is that why Daft Punk? Is that what they hide their identity? Because they
probably do. Because dude. I mean, for disclosure, there's this. I think they're DJs respective. Like each of them are respectively a DJ group.
Yeah.
Or rather, they're 2 DJs within a duo. Disclosure. These guys obscure their faces because they're on the older side. And Daft Punk, I mean, shit, part of the appeal was the fact that they had robot helmets or whatever. Yeah. And I mean, if you saw their faces, how would that change your perspective of their music? If you saw that they were old, I mean, it shouldn't, but it
probably would.
So I guess the argument that I'm trying to make is that music is something of a young man's game, right? Mm-hmm. And if you want to make it, I think it starts when you're 21 or possibly 18, if you're even capable of making music at that point. So yeah, you have 10 years from when you're 10 to 12 years from when you're 18 to when you're 30, right?
Okay.
And you're not going to be writing your best shit when you're 18 because you haven't really gone through enough. And when you turn 21, okay, you can start drinking, you can start experimenting with drugs and shit.
Wait a minute.
What?
You can start drinking and experimenting with drugs at any age. Like, you don't have to be 21.
That's true. I guess I guess you're more of an adult at that point. And when you do experience it, it's probably in a college setting. So maybe
theoretically.
Yeah. So I think all the way up until you're 23 or 24, I don't know how much you can write of as far as quality songs go. So from 25 to 30 is really your window to make some quality shit, to find the right band members. So you have a 5-year window, and year 1 would be you're getting recognized through the local scene, right?
Yeah.
The second year is, I guess, getting validated by other bands locally or acts that know you. And then third would be to solidify your place in the music scene. And then after that, the next 2 years are where you make make the money. So what?
I think that's interesting, but okay.
But you could poke holes. I mean, because like I said, yeah.
I'm gonna fucking throw your theory a fucking curveball and a half. Okay,
all right.
Because now,
wait, can we pause this? Because I have to pee.
All right, yeah, hold on. I'll pause this. Okay, all right, we're back after Adam's piss break. Yeah. Okay, so with your well-known hatred of American Idol and these kind of shows that sort of speed run the game, right?
Yeah.
So if you're saying we only have like a 5-year window to do it, what's fucking wrong with you? That 5 years is not a lot of time. Hell, even 10 years probably isn't that much time. So then what's wrong with trying to speed run it? Isn't that just another tool that you could utilize?
No, because I think this thing is a very heavily image-based thing, right? I'm not just talking about physical appearance,
right,
but optics as a persona or whatever the fuck you are as an artist.
All right.
I think you're tarnished the minute you step foot on American Idol. It tells me that you don't want to do the dirt and you're compromising yourself to win this stupid contest that probably is not going to do a whole lot for you. Maybe you win like a cash prize, but they end up like locking you up for who the fuck. I mean, if you make music, they probably lock you up so that you're not in a favorable position. Like you're probably going to work with the record label that they assign to you or whatever the fuck it is. And the deal you probably get is probably negotiated within the contract you probably signed from the get-go of the thing. If you make it this far or whatever, you're only going to get 20% of the royalties. I just don't think going that route works out most of the time. Sure, I mean, you have the Carrie Underwoods, the Kelly Clarksons that made it out, that separated their identity from American Idol, and Carrie Underwood, who would go on to be a top country superstar, and Kelly Clarkson had her heyday eventually. But those are exceptions. Like that, everybody usually ends up getting lost in obscurity. It's like all that time you spent in 1 year to speed run popularity or fame or to get the money as an artist. Why didn't you just do that by yourself? Pay the dues, go find out what you're made of.
Maybe they didn't know how. Maybe they don't know where to start. Maybe that's what they know as where you could potentially start. And that's how, well, shit, I know that I want to do music and I don't know how to fucking make a social media account to do that. I don't have the money to get equipment to record. I'm just doing this on my iPhone, on TikTok or whatever. And yeah, now I'm going to be on fucking maybe I'm on American Idol. And listen, even if I'm on the show and I'm in the top, whatever, I don't know how many people they fucking take, whatever, let's say it's 10. If I'm in the 10 that fucking make it, I know that after this, even if I get eliminated episode 1, I'm going to get a deal singing on cruise ships. At least I'm going to be doing that. And listen, say what you want about it, but isn't that the goal, is to get paid to do music? So you can do it for a quote unquote living, right? For a lot of these people, it's like, hey, I want to make music because I love making music. But at a certain point, if you can't make your music, if you can't get paid for it, most people are just not going to be able to do it. They're not going to have the funds to continue doing it. They're going to, like you said, get lost in obscurity. So this is a way they can get out of that obscurity, because what's the likelihood of them just being on TikTok and a record deal coming their way? Basically zero. What's the likelihood if I'm actually fucking talented and I show up on fucking American Idol and I fucking just go to the tryout and I end up on TV, even if I don't make it, people that don't even make it on the TV end up getting little fucking things here and there. Oh, cool. Go on a little tour, fucking go sing on cruise ship entertainment, do fucking whatever. It's an opportunity for something to happen. It's just a feather to throw into your cap. So I wouldn't rule it out. Yes, I agree with you in sentiment regarding people that only want to utilize that as their sole source of trying to speedrun the system. But I won't knock somebody who's done the Instagram, who's done the shit, who's done the dirt, and then also wants to throw that in as well. I don't think it automatically tarnishes you. I think it's the backstory. I
agree with you there. If it's supplementary, that this is one other avenue that I think could help catapult me to the next ring or whatever, next level, then it's fine in that way. But if that was your only method in which you were trying to get to, because I think also the other thing that American Idol does is that not that it intentionally does this, but it makes you look like a glorified karaoke singer, because you're singing everybody else's songs. Right. And that's the kind of the image that you're kind of painting yourself in, that you're supposed to make these songs that already exist and make it your own. You gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. Why aren't they making contests about people making their own fucking songs and being original and writing a song within a week and then doing a contest and then finding out who performed the best, who wrote the best song? And then why isn't that a fucking thing?
That should be the way the show is done. I mean, that should be a show. Shit, that'd be a great show. It's that would actually be a competition instead of just, oh yeah, pick a fucking song that already exists and just do your best version of it. Yeah, that's whack. Maybe that's shit. Maybe we should get into reality TV shows. Maybe that's what we should be doing, because that would be a great show.
Fuck yeah. Well, at least we have it on here.
Yeah, we invented this shit. All right, go fuck yourselves.
Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah. Okay, but then let's get back to this thing.
The 10-year window,
so the 10-year window, right? Okay, let's say, like you said, it starts. Well, let's say it's 12 because it's like 18 to 30, right? Let's just say it's 12.
Okay, it's 12 years, and I really don't think there's an end, because it only stops. Your potential to succeed only ends when you stop, right? You could keep doing this till you're 30, but it's like you have a diminishing.
Well, what you're saying is it's the point of 30 is the point of diminishing returns, where now if you haven't gotten in a deal with somebody by 30, you're never going to get one, right?
Yeah, it's like your shelf life,
because they're going to look at you as, well, you're kind of old now. You're a little fat. I don't know. Like,
whatever excuse they're going to poke holes in your appearance or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah.
Okay. So then, all right. So you're starting like you said, you're 18, right? So like with Royal Lotus, as we did, like they're 18, like they're young dudes, right? 19, 20, whatever, right?
Yeah. They're probably in their early 20s.
Okay. Early 20s. They're young dudes. They don't know shit about shit. We've specifically said their music sucks because it's repetitive.
I think their music is good instrumentally, but the lyrical content is lacking.
That's what we were talking about. Is we gave them a lower score because the lyrical content sucks. Yeah. It's repetitive. It's just about bullshit that young dickheads have it's the young dickheads problems. Yeah. You haven't give me something substantive or whatever. Mm-hmm. So now you're starting a career and you're just like, shit, okay. Maybe people don't like my lyrics. Maybe my lyrics are lacking. Okay, how can I fucking get better at writing lyrics? Fuck, I don't know. This is what I know. You know what I'm saying? Now, they got lucky and whatever, got a deal already. So like they're the outlier of this issue. But I'm sure there's a lot of bands. And see, this is another, this is why I want to talk to more bands, like, or band members that are not in any, that are just maybe starting out or just kind of starting to, okay, they've maybe done a couple of shows, maybe they've put out some singles or whatever. Because I'd like to know where they're at. Like, where are you at with this? You're 18 to 20 or whatever. You want to get started in doing this. Like, what are you guys fucking singing about? What are you doing to attract? Because again, yes, you can do it for the love of music, right? And you can do it for your product, but if you're specifically looking to get picked up by someone else, then there has to be an aspect of it that you're making it for the masses. You're making it to be commercially appealing, so that,
and also to separate yourself from everybody else that is of your age, that's also in the same genre or whatever other things that you can get lost in obscurity with. Yeah.
So you're going to waste, of this 12-year window, you're probably going to waste half of it.
Half of it, yes.
At least just trying to figure out. So like you said, that 25 to 30-year
that's the window. Yeah.
That's really like the sweet spot. Mm-hmm. So you really only have 5 fucking years.
The prime years, because okay, let's say from 18 to 24, which is 6 years, right? Yeah. The first half. If you're lucky to get, if there's something good that happens, whether you are part of another band that has taken off, that's some of that shit rubs off on you too when you eventually end up doing your own thing, and that'd be great. And if you are fortunate enough to do it from 18 to 24 and have something major happen, fuck yeah, you're on your way to. But for everybody else, I think that didn't make it in that first half, got us on the first half. That second half is like the prime window of when things could potentially happen. If you're as good as you think you are, if you got the right crew to make it happen, and if the music's there, the lyrics, the instrumentals and all that stuff, you got the imagery down, well, that to me is when all things are go. Your optics, like your physical appearance, your own voice, not just how you sing or whatever, but your own identity that stands out above the rest, the music, the lyric, all that stuff, the social media, that those 6 years, the latter half of those 6 years, I think is where it happens, if it's going to happen.
You know, I think we need to collect some data points, and I think we need to do all gas, no trash universities.
Good fucking Lord, yeah.
Doctoral study on artists, and we need to find some artists that are older. We need to find some that are younger, and we need to find some that are in the middle. And then we need to track them and say, okay, where did they come from? Where are they at now? And where are they going to be in, like, let's say 3 or 4 years? Yeah.
Well, and how would you measure what would we call objectively the success of a group or an artist?
Objectively would be, can it pay for itself? I think it's got to be a monetary objective. I think that's kind of the point of them being able to continue doing it, is I think that's why most artists, well, again, I don't know shit, but I would think that's why most artists end up quitting, is because after 6 years, if you don't get anybody, if you're not making any money back, or you're not even covering part of your expenses of doing this, at some point you got to be like, what the fuck is the point of doing this, right? Because most people don't have like our psychopath ability to just say, oh no, we're just going to brute force something until it happens. And if it takes 15 years, well, that's how long it took. And we're just, oh, look, see, it worked. We told you. Mm-hmm. We told you it happened. It was going to happen. Yeah, it took a little longer than we thought, but well, we told you. Most people don't have that fucking tenacity or that psychopath mentality like we do. So after like 3 years, they're going to be like, yeah, I ain't making no money, and this is just a hole. Mm-hmm. This is a hobby that's become a debt essentially at this point. I'm just not going to do this anymore. And I think that's where a lot of them quit, is monetarily. So I think that monetary success is probably the metric to show if it's objectively successful or not, because opinions don't really matter if people think it's good or they think it's bad. Mm. If it makes money, it's successful, right?
That's interesting, because if you base it on money, then you could have a scenario where a band that is only, let's say they only have 20,000 followers, right?
Right. Okay.
But they live in California. They don't go on large tours because they can't afford it, but they'll tour the entirety of California because there's an audience here. It already works.
Yeah, and they're here.
So they could save a lot of the cost that they would spend on going on tour, and then they could save the money and then just keep a lot of it just here, because there are a lot of bands. There's a lot of punk bands that exist here that just stick to here mostly, or even like reggae bands. Like there's this band called the Agrolites. Like they mostly stick to around here, and they're not huge, but they must be doing pretty all right because they're still fucking doing it, and they must be doing it to the point that it's justifiable enough that each of the members are still making a profit on it. Yeah.
Dude, that would be a great fucking documentary. That's the one we should fucking make. And it's going to be a multi-part fucking thing, but take some bands, take one from here, take a couple different genres maybe from here, see how they do, interview them, talk to them, tell their story, right? But then like talk about the financial aspect of it. And then also maybe do New York. That's another like music scene, right? Take some bands or some acts from there, see how they do comparatively. Then maybe go to Seattle. Then maybe, I don't know, Phoenix or Vegas. And then get like an amalgamation. Shit, it'd be great to find someone from like a Redneck in the Sticks. Like that'd be a cool one to throw into the algorithm and say, okay, how do they do in Mississippi? Like you're a low level country guy and you sing at bars or whatever, but you're talented. How do you get yourself out there or whatever, right?
Yeah, and funny enough that you mentioned Mississippi, one of the weird bands that came out of Mississippi that is just an oddity altogether. And I think the reason that they stuck out and probably why they're succeeding now is because, MS Paint is the band, the weird synth punk band. One, I've never even fucking heard of synth punk. Two, it's interesting, and they're from bumfuck nowhere. So the fact that they immediately stuck out from a place that doesn't really produce, superstar artists, that is weird. And the band is weird in a good way. And I don't know what the window was of when they actually. Okay, so pretty much from when I found them, they had, I think, 2 singles out. So it only took them a year or so for them to get recognized, to get picked up. And now things are starting to. But I think part of that is also due in part to them pairing up with Military Gun, the band. They're also from here, but just the right amount of things happen. And I wonder if it happened in the second half of my theoretical window that exists, if it happened in the first or the second half.
That would be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
And you know what? I might actually have some sort of like Down syndrome right now, because I literally realized that I didn't know they were from Mississippi. That's why they're called MS Paint, because MS is the state abbreviation for fucking Mississippi.
Yeah, but it's Microsoft.
I know. Yeah. I thought that's what it was. I thought it was just Microsoft Paint.
Yeah.
But it's MS Mississippi Paint. Like that's like.
But it's also a pun for Microsoft.
Yeah, I know. But like, I didn't know, because I'm like, damn, that's so good.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. But there's and I will say that there is a window for. I don't know how this is going to come across, and whether it's offensive or not, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, who gives a fuck?
There is a window for even that. That yes, they've basically what you would call it. They've hit it.
Yeah,
they hit the prize. Like they have gotten the attention. They've been recognized by other, Audio Tree. They've done video sessions and shit, and they're starting to tour nationally here in the U.S. But I think what they propose in lyrical content, and as far as their music goes, because they are like something of a novelty, that thing is going to get old. That is going to have, I think, a 5 to 10 year window, depending on how quickly people turn on this. That this thing will only have like a 5 to 10 year leg on it, because I don't think it's that strong. I think some of the music, some of the songs. I mean, I don't know if you ever got a chance to actually listen to the album.
Listen to that whole album. Yeah.
Was the whole thing good? I don't know. I think they're good for a few songs.
Yeah,
and then
was generally repetitive. It was like listening to the same songs over and over again.
So if they come back with that in another album, then that's when it doesn't. Yeah, that's when it starts falling apart. So if they do that for 3 albums, it's going to fall apart real quickly. So I think there's probably a 10-year window, 3 albums over the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And then after that, it'll start coming.
All right, so you got this sweet spot, this 5-year sweet spot, right, to hit it. Now, once you hit it, does that reset your clock? You now have another 10-year window?
I think so. It's like a winding clock, right? Like a cooking timer or whatever.
Okay.
That every time you do something right, your shit just gets reset to another 60 seconds. But I suppose in this case, it's going to be another year or whatever it is. But I mean, if you're able to fucking hit platinum or one of the RIAA ratings or whatever the fuck it is, then yeah, you're pretty much golden for the rest of your life. If you're going to be a lifetime or a generational artist, but that's not going to be the case for most artists. I think you have 10 or 15 years of, and within that, like you have the 5-year window to make it, and then you have 10 years to keep it. To make the money off of your own music. So, but that you had brought it up, maybe it is a window that just keeps getting reset every time you do something right. So in this case, MS Paint got it right by doing that collaboration with Military Gun with that song, Delete It.
Yeah.
That got the attention. Now they have to keep it. So, all right. So they did it in the second half, 26 to, or was it 25 to
30 or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah. That worked. Now what are you going to do to keep to keep yourself at the top. Like
Now you got to do something again. You got another 10 years to do it, or else you're done.
Right. So then maybe it's a 3-year window from when you hit it big to your next album. And usually artists release an album like 3 years after the fact, right?
Yeah.
So we get another album 3 years. Whether how that is received will tell you how much your window is extended.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I can agree with that. And then if you do something else, okay, cool. You dialed it back. You bought yourself another 3 years. If you do something, if your windows are now, instead of it being, oh, you hit it big and now cool, you got a 10-year window now. Well, shit, if your first album 3 years later comes out, sucks. Oh man, maybe you just chopped your window back down. You only got another 3 years left now instead of 6 or whatever, 7. So, but then if you have a great album, shit, maybe that adds another couple on. And if you can do it every, like you said, 3 years, you could just keep tacking on to your window. And then eventually, yeah, it'll just fall off that because, I mean, no one can just fucking create shit like that. But yeah, go ahead.
All right, I got a question for you. So what do you think about the fan base at that point, like at each stage? Because you do end up having lifetime fans, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes the albums can turn people against you. So what do you think the percentage is between fans that are lifetime fans and the ones that were there for the music mostly in general, that they're going on a case by case basis? What do you think the percentage is?
I think the percentage when you hit it big, right?
100%, right? Everybody's with you.
Yeah, well, it's probably not 100, but it's probably closer to that. I'd say out of that number, I mean, you're probably, I mean, who knows how many fans people have, but let's just say on average, you're 4Xing your fans. So 25% of your fan base now, when you hit it big, that was the original people that listened to you before, right? So you've times it by 4 by now you're at the 100%, right? So then that album's good. Everybody's on board. Your next album, maybe you retain, again, it's fickle too, because you can't, I don't think you can ever figure out what you're going to do because you don't know how your art's going to be perceived, right?
True.
If you're making it for art. And even if you're making it for money, you still don't know if you're going to hit well. You still don't know if it's going to be perceived well. So let's say on average, you're probably losing that 25% every single fucking time you do an album. Maybe as the albums ebb and flow and like one does better, maybe you gain back 10, 20% extra than you did the last time. Maybe people come back and gave you a chance. Hell, maybe over time you lose 75% of your audience, but then after you've been gone for a little while, you pop it again and people say, oh shit, I remember them. Oh, let me check this out. And then maybe it's good and okay, cool. And now maybe you're back to 100% again or whatever, or maybe even more. So yeah, I'd say you probably could gain and lose 25% around there, depending on if it's good or not. And that's shit. Even if it's just the same, you're probably still going to lose 25% of the people because there's going to be a percentage that are always unhappy with anything that you do. Oh, this isn't like their early stuff. This is not them. Like Linkin Park had that issue. They changed their sound a little bit. They tried to do something different that wasn't the same shit they were doing in the early 2000s. A lot of people hated it. And they said, fuck it, I'm out. Yeah, there you go. It's as is, you're right. But there was enough people that liked it to keep it going.
So the shit you're saying as far, let's say hitting it big, the number is like 100,000, right?
Okay.
That's on the first album. So the next time they come around with a second album, this proverbial band,
yeah,
that they would get another 25,000 for that.
I'm saying you're probably going to lose just off of that first initial.
So it's 75,000.
You're going to get 75,000. And then as it's out, if it's good, you'll go back up to 100 or whatever, or maybe higher. If it's bad, you might drop down to 50. You might drop down to 25 again, depending on the severity of good or bad that it is, I guess.
Okay.
So I think that's I think that's reasonable just to say on an average. Now, granted, obviously you got the outliers. Taylor Swift doesn't have this fucking problem, but the Swifties are going to fucking listen to it, whether it's good or bad. They don't give a shit. That's the exception to the rule or whatever. So yeah, you might have out of 100,000 fans, you probably realistically have 10% of that are like diehards that are scattered throughout the world that will listen to you no matter what you put out.
So for the 100,000, you would have 10%. Yeah, 10% of that. So it'd be 10,000.
Yeah, your 10%, whatever it is, likely 10% of your audience is probably those diehards that are going to listen to you no matter what you say. There's nothing, no music. Well, that's nothing that you could say, but there's no amount of music that's terrible you could make that they would go away. They're going to just be here no matter what.
It's probably why you want a couple million, because then you could say at least I have 200,000 people across
the world.
What you would assume is the United States. If you're gonna do most of your touring here, at least your audience would be here.
Yeah, and you'd have a huge audience based on a couple 100,000 people. You could go and you could sell out medium-sized venues.
Yeah,
throughout the United States. If you had and really like, you just do it geographically where it makes sense. You go to if you have fans on the West Coast, then you don't go tour on the East Coast because you're not going to do well.
Right.
It's being strategic. Like it's like that Heilung fucking tour they did. The furthest west they went was fucking Colorado. Why? I don't know. Maybe because this was their first time and they didn't know if they would be perceived as well on the West Coast for some fucking reason.
Well, how'd they do?
Well, I don't know how their tour was. I haven't gotten to see any numbers yet, but they were, a lot of people were in the audience. There was a lot of people there. It seemed like it didn't seem like they were doing like no audience shows. So I would imagine they probably made money.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they have another tour scheduled for the West Coast, but I kind of want to go because that's like an experience to fucking see that shit.
True.
So I'm going to see if we can get us in fucking somehow, maybe, because
maybe at some point we could parlay this shit into we'll see.
Like an interview maybe or something. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just mean in the future, like as far as a pipe dream or bucket listing.
Go to shows for free or some shit.
Yeah. All right. So the specific example that I come up with for somebody that didn't make it or I don't think is going to make it at this point.
All right.
And I don't really care how this comes out because I'm just going to fucking say it because it's fresh off of us reviewing this album. But I think Lohum is cooked and the window has certainly passed. Third album, sure, he's gotten a couple million streams and all that shit, but he's at 10K followers on Instagram, which is usually where artists end up being at.
Is that where they die?
No. I just mean that usually people base their opinions on what happens on TikTok or Instagram, right?
So that makes no sense, but yeah.
But I mean, if you want to get a hunch or a semblance or an idea of what's going on with an artist, you kind of base it on social media, right?
Yeah, fuck, man. Wait,
but
what was the new album called?
Terra Incognita.
Fuck, that's not even on his top 5.
I can't.
Oh, wait, yeah, it is. Fuck, it's so horrible. In his top 5, I mean,
all the stuff is from this first album, I imagine, right? His top 3.
Well, Room to Breathe was the first album, right? Yeah, top 3. They're 4 million, and then 15 million for the top song, right? Off of this new album, the highest one is 97,000 streams.
But that's only so long into it. It's only been
true, I guess,
a month. But I mean, maybe a year would be more indicative. But in any case, this is somebody that's over the hill as far as being an artist goes. And I would say that shit, maybe it's time to fucking pack it up and let it go, because I just don't see how this is profitable for him unless he's getting all the production and stuff
covered, maybe
covered for free, or because he's got a few friends that do the production side of this. But who's willing to do shit for free? Like everybody's in it for money, right? So it's like, how is this going to keep going? If I can't even believe it. I don't believe in it. Like, I just don't see it. So this is an example of how I think this is. If you missed your window in your 30s, or you're like by year 30, it's not happening. This is pretty much it.
I mean, I think you might be right with Lohum. I mean, I was not a fan of that album at all, and I wasn't into his stuff before, but the earlier stuff was better. It seemed like. Yeah. And this was definitely, I don't know, phoned in. I don't know what the fuck the word you could use to describe it was. Not good is definitely one of those words.
Not good is an appropriate phrase.
And the second album seemed to kind of also be mediocre. So
I think that is his worst album. At least this one kind of did something for me.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to. I mean, I did like that cool ass fucking GIF on the fucking like the album cover, which was fucking sweet. Yeah, that was cool as shit. But whatever, man. I mean, if he's getting it made for free, or if he's getting somebody to pay for it, because he's like independent, right? Or is he like on somebody's label?
I don't know if it's a record label, but they're called Last Gang something. I don't remember if it was records, but if it is, I mean, sure, he got signed, but who gives a shit? It doesn't mean anything because it hasn't helped him. Evidently,
Yeah.
What are they doing?
I mean, it allowed them to make music. That's basically it. I mean, if they're not making money on it, then why are they going to keep helping you? Like, right? Because they care. That's all they care about is money. Man. Yeah, I think you're right. He's cooked.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But what are we at in terms of time?
I think we're at just over an hour.
Are we?
An hour and 5 minutes.
All right, cool. But yeah, to summarize this particular segment, I do think there is something of a window, and it diminishes the moment you turn probably 18, because that's when you're considered an adult and you have, well, I don't think you have a fully developed brain until you're 25, but if you're going to have a good start, it's going to be at 18, and it's a 12-year window. And if you can't make it fucking work from 25 to 30, then I don't know. I mean, at some point you probably are considering, well, shit, I got another half of my life. I'm going to be turning 70. I better hold it down with a real job, or else this shit.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to need to do something, or else your ass is about to be homeless.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can see that.
But, well, anyways, you got anything else you wanted to add about this particular topic to wrap it up?
No, I think we covered it very, very well.
Do you think what I was saying was preposterous, or you think, because
No, I actually think that's plausible. I think that we need more data to confirm this, but I think you are onto something. And I think we can compile the data potentially to either confirm this hypothesis or deny it.
All right, I think the way we do it, because this is probably going to be a long-term case study, but any artist that we end up interviewing them, that we end up following what they do, if they don't hit a certain mark or whatever, then we'll categorize these people with whatever I guess metric that we could indicate is as success or failure. What would be more interesting is let's say we actually collected 1,000 artists, right? And that's a small sample of data that we could collect. But imagine if we found the sweet spot of when people actually take off by whatever metric we actually come up with, that it's somewhere between, let's say, 24 and 27, or maybe 27 is like the lucky year, or maybe it's 1 year, or a range of years from 23 to 27 is where it ends up happening, that the breakout artists end up having their success around that fucking timeline.
That could be.
That if it exceeds that, then it's less likely to happen.
Yeah. That very well could be. I would be very interested to see where this ends up. And I mean, if it's one thing we do, it's relentlessly compile data about ourselves in terms of our own numbers.
Yeah.
I think we could easily apply that same stratagem to someone else and figure out, amongst 20 artists, all right, when was this? Is there a sweet spot? And if we find it, oh shit, maybe it's not. Maybe there is something to it. Maybe there is like.
Imagine if we end up coming with like a PhD thesis without actually going to school and actually doing.
That's why we have All Gas No Trash University, or we should call it Game Rage GRU, Game Rage University, GRMU, Game Rage Magazine University. I don't know, but yeah, that's what it'll be. We start wearing lab coats and just start fucking putting on goggles for no reason.
Yeah.
And then being like, because we're in the lab doing the work, fucking compiling the numbers.
Why would the lab coat be necessary?
I don't know. It's just because it's cool. Like,
you're going to be official.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'll tell you what, people believe things that other people say just because they're wearing lab coats. All right. Like,
it's possible. Yeah.
I would say, why not? Anything we do to because we don't have fucking fancy degrees or, anything like that. So we have to make people believe fucking legit by wearing lab coats and goggles. And we got to have a lot of beakers, even though we're just doing math. We got to have all the science shit there, like just to fucking We're out here, we're mixing shit together. It's like it's just videos of us looking at the things and like it boils over with the smoke or whatever, like looking at it and going like, and then I point at it and go, yes, and you go, yes, and you write down on a thing, and then I'm like, we're in here doing the work. And it's like, but wait, what, they're making stuff? Like, what are they fucking making? Aren't they just doing numbers? Like and talking to people?
Fuck yeah.
That's the trailer for the fucking documentary about this. And the documentary name, All Gas, No Trash. That's just what it is.
All right.
Fuck yeah.
All right. So I think we definitely reached the end of the episode.
I think we have to. So anyways, if you want to hear us talk about other stuff that's not music related, as we said, you can go to GameRageMagazine.com. You can follow us on Game Rage Magazine or at Game Rage Magazine on Instagram and TikTok, at Game Rage Mag on Twitter /X. You can follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram. If you want all the latest in music, musings, and news, and to hear some shit you've probably never heard before, tune in to at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram.
Set the tone, boys.
Indeed. All right. Well, that'll be it for us. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll check you on the next one.